If I do this, will it actually stop the war? That depends on what happens after.
The countdown had already started when Mira Solon realized the ship wasn't hers anymore. Red light bathed the cockpit of the Halcyon Drift, pulsing in time with a warning she'd never heard before. Not a hull breach, not a reactor fault, but a single word blinking across every screen. Slammed. Computer, status report, she said, voice tighter than she intended. Ownership transfer in progress, the ship replied, calm as ever. Estimated completion, 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Mira had been alone in deep space for 143 days, running silent through the Kessel Drift on a salvage contract nobody else wanted. The wreck she'd found, and derelict vessel twice the size of a Federation cruiser, drifting dead for what her scanners insisted was 3,000 years. Should have been the payday that finally got her off this life. Instead, the moment her tether crew cut into its hull and pulled the black, seed-shaped object from its core, everything on the drift had gone wrong. The object sat now in her cargo bay humming. She hadn't touched it. She hadn't needed to. It had reached for her the second the airlock cycled, a pulse of heat crawling up her spine like a hand closing around her throat, and now, 4 minutes and counting, her own ship was preparing to hand itself over to something that wasn't even fully awake yet. Override the transfer, she snapped, already moving toward the cargo bay. I can't, the computer said. The seed has admin authority. It came from someone with a higher clearance than mine. There's no one on this ship but me. There wasn't, the computer agreed. There is now. The lights along the corridor died behind her, one by one, chasing her toward the cargo bay like something was closing a door she hadn't seen yet. When she reached it, the black seed was floating a full meter off the deck, spinning slowly, and the air around it shimmered with heat that had no source. A voice came from everywhere and nowhere. You woke me. Mira's hand went to the pistol at her hip, more reflex than plan. I didn't touch you. My crew pulled you out of a dead ship. That's it. Intent is not required, only contact. The voice was neither male nor female, layered like 3 people speaking a half-second out of sync. You have opened what was sealed. The debt returns to whoever breaks the silence. What debt? I don't even know what you are. The seed pulsed once, and every screen on the drift filled with the same image, a world Mira had never seen, its sky the wrong color, its cities built from something that looked grown rather than built. Ships. Vast, asymmetrical, wrong in a way her mind kept sliding off of, rose from beneath its oceans in the image. Thousands of them. Waking. 3,000 of your years ago, my people and yours fought a war that nearly erased us both, the voice said. A treaty was signed. A seal was made. A single mind bounded to stillness, to stand as proof that the debt was paid and the silence was kept. I was that seal. Your kind found me first, buried in a ship no one remembered, and cracked me open like a curious child cracks an egg. That's not possible. There's no record of any war like that, no treaty, nothing. Records can be erased, memory cannot. The seed drifted closer, and Mira felt the ship's gravity bend slightly around it, pulling at her boots. The signal has already gone out. My people will hear it within the hour. They will believe your species broke the treaty on purpose. They will come to finish what was interrupted 3,000 years ago. Mira's mouth had gone dry. Then tell them it was an accident. Tell them we didn't know. They will not listen to me. I have been silent too long. My voice carries no weight anymore. But there is another way. The seed turned, and for the first time, Mira felt like it was truly looking at her, though it had no eyes she could see. A new seal. Freely given. It must be someone who understands exactly what they are choosing and chooses it anyway. No, Mira said immediately, backing toward the cargo bay door. Absolutely not. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be part of some 3,000-year-old war between species I've never heard of. Neither did the first seal. That did not stop the sacrifice from meaning something. Then find someone else. There is no one else on this ship. The voice softened, just slightly, and to something almost gentle. And there is no time to reach another. My people move faster than light travels. You have perhaps 90 minutes before the first scouts arrive at the system. Perhaps less. Mira's mind raced through everything she knew, which was almost nothing. 90 minutes. A war she'd never heard of. A civilization that could apparently hear a signal across the stars and mobilize a fleet before she could finish a cup of coffee. And a black seed hovering in her cargo bay, offering her a choice that wasn't really a choice at all. "If I say yes," she said slowly, "what actually happens to me? You will not die. You will become still, aware, but suspended, existing between one breath and the next for as long as the peace requires. Days, centuries, I do not know which." A pause. I was in that stillness for 3,000 years. I felt every year of it. That's not exactly a selling point. I am not selling anything. I am telling you the truth, because you deserve at least that much before you decide. Mira looked past the seed, out through the cargo bay's small viewport, at the endless black, scattered with more stars than she'd ever bothered to count. Somewhere out there, 90 minutes and shrinking, something was already moving toward her, toward Earth, toward everyone who had never heard of a treaty their ancestors hadn't kept, dying for a war they didn't start and wouldn't understand. She thought about her sister back on the orbital, the one who still hadn't forgiven her for taking this contract instead of coming home for the holidays. She thought about the money this salvage was supposed to bring her and how none of that mattered anymore. Not even a little. "If I do this," Mira said, her voice steadier than she felt, "will it actually stop the war, or am I just delaying it?" "That depends entirely on what happens after," the voice admitted. "A seal is not a solution. It is a pause, a held breath, long enough for those on both sides to remember why the war was worth ending in the first place. Whether they use that time wisely is not something I can promise you. So I might do this for nothing. You might. Or you might be the reason two species that were about to destroy each other instead had the chance not to." The seed drifted lower, level now with her eyes. "I cannot make this choice easier. I can only tell you that someone made it for me once, long before I understood what it cost him, and because of that choice, I live to stand here and ask you the same question." The ship's clock ticked past the 88-minute mark. Mira Solon, salvager, nobody, alone in the dark with a fortune she would never spend, reached out and closed her hand around the black seed. "Then let's not waste the time we have," she said. "Tell me what I need to do." The last thing the Halcyon Drift's flight recorder captured, before its power finally failed for good, was a warm light filling the cargo bay, and a woman's voice, calm and certain, asking a question that would not be answered for another 3,000 years. "Will you remember me when it's over?" And somewhere in the vast, patient dark, something answered. "Always."